So hello everyone, in this video we are going to learn about Redux. So let's get started. Let's see what does Redux means. So Redux is a JavaScript library for managing application state. It is often used in combination with React, a JavaScript library for building user interface. So some of you might have got what does this means, but some of you might not. So now let's try to understand this. Now we'll try to understand Redux with the help of bank analogy. Okay. So before starting, we will write three terms that are the most useful, that is store, then comes reducer, and then comes action. Okay, these are the three most used term in Redux. So now let's come on to the bank example. Okay, let's suppose there is one bank in our city. So this is just an example for our understanding. Okay, this is bank, there is one manager, and this is user. Let's suppose this is user 1. Okay, now what is the need of this user? Like what does this user wants from this manager, from this bank basically? So he wants to withdraw 10 rupees from his bank account. He want to withdraw 10 rupees from his bank account. Okay, now he cannot just directly go to the bank and will get his money. There are certain security checks, so he'll not able to perform that, but manager can go and perform, at least in our bank. Okay, manager can go and perform that task for him. So he'll go to manager and ask him, I want to withdraw 10 rupees. So what should I do? He'll then, this manager in return will ask him, you should fill this withdraw form and give it to me. I'll get your money from the bank. Okay. What this user will do, he'll just fill this form, and this form will be consisting of what he wants to do. Like he wants to do withdraw. So what task he wants to perform? He wants to perform withdraw operation. Okay, so he'll fill withdraw slip, and there he also need to fill his info and the amount that he want. Okay, so he'll fill all these three things and will give it to the manager. Now in turn, what manager will do, he'll go to bank, he'll check in the server that whether this user who is asking for money is registered into the bank, whether this user consists of an account or not. So if he is authorized, now what he'll do, this manager will check whether the user's account have more than 10 rupees or not. Okay, so let's suppose the money that the user have is 100 rupees. Okay, so now the manager is satisfied that this user has have 100 rupees, so I can deduct 10 rupees from that and will give it to him. So this manager will go and bring this 10 rupees to him. Okay, now this is our example. Now let's try to understand these three terms. Okay, so bank, what is bank? Bank is a central storage of what? Of all the money. So here money is the state. Money is the state. Now what is bank? Bank is the store where all the money is stored. Okay, now what is manager? What manager is doing? Let's see that. Manager is able to manipulate the money. Not manipulate, he was able to change the money. He was able to change the state. Earlier it was 100, now after deducting 10 rupees it is 90. So manager was able to change the state for the user. So the person who is able to change the state, or the entity which is able to change the state, is known as reducer. The function, you could say, not an entity. Okay, so now what is the purpose of this user over here? User means us, developer. Okay, developer. Now what is this? What is the use of this? So let's understand that. This is reducer, was able to change the state, was able to change the money in the store. Now let's see this. This is action. Now This manager was only able to withdraw the money on the behalf of user because user asked him to withdraw the money. If the user would have been asked him to deposit the money, then the manager would have deposited the money. Okay, then the manager would have deposited the money. Okay, so this action is going to tell this reducer what to do, whether he wants to withdraw the money, whether he wants to deposit the money, which will be invoked by whom? Which will be invoked, or you could say dispatched by a developer. By a developer. So now let's see it in a more formal way. So first thing is our store. Store is central storage, which holds what? Current state of our complete application. Okay, then there is reducer. So reducers are function which are capable of changing state. Then comes our action. So what action is doing? Action is going to tell, is going to what we could say, what operation to perform. What operation to perform. Let's suppose example of operation, let's see them. So withdraw, deposit, and one more is there, new account registration, create new account, and we'll also try to understand this 10 rupees, and we also need to tell the amount, like we also need to change tell them the payload. Now what is payload? For now consider it as amount. Okay, we want to withdraw 10 rupees, that's why what we did, we passed this thing in our form that so now what is payload? Payload for now just consider payload as 10 rupees. That is the amount. Okay, not 10 rupees, amount. Okay. Okay, as we had 100 rupees, so we asked for 10 rupees. So now it's changed by 10 rupees. So that's why payload is going to change our state with that particular magnitude. Okay. So I hope I was able to explain you these three things and the Redux. So now let's start our coding part. So this is the Redux folder that I've created, but I'm going to create it one more time just to explain you all. So let's create one more folder, that is Redux1, redux1.js, and where it is, okay. We will be having three folders over here. In this earlier file, what I did was like I just moved all the actions into reducer folder only, so that's why there is no action folder over here. But now here, just to follow the practice, we are going to create three folders. Let's first create the first folder, that is reducer.js, cer.js, then comes our store.js, and then comes our action.js. Okay, so before starting, let me show you the demo of our application that we are going to build. So here, so now let's see, as I told you in the bank analogy, that how we are going to work and what practices did we follow. Like the manager was going to the bank and was providing us our money, all that thing. So same way we'll see how things work over here. So amount was 100 in that example, that's why I've put 100 over here also. We can change it. So let's first try to withdraw the money. Okay, I'll put withdraw request and we'll click on deduct money. You are able to see 90, or you can add, I've got 100 rupees today, so I'll just add it. So yeah, you all are able to see 190 rupees on the screen. Okay, so this is how the app is. So there is nothing much to show, so let's start with the video. So We have created these three folders, that is store, reducer. Okay, let me just correct the spelling of reducer. So first thing that we required is we first need to create the store. Okay, store. So what we need to write, configure store. Okay, then what? We need to pass object where we'll be writing reducer, and that reducer could be anything. Okay, that's how we're going to do that. Let's export the store first. Export. Okay, so exported the store. So now we have exported the store. So now let's see the reducer now. So let's first create the reducer. Const amount reducer. This is going to be the name of our reducer where we'll be passing two things. So before that we need to write create reducer. Here we need to pass two things. The first is initial state that we are going to create, initial state, state state. Next thing is going to be the builder callback. So here we'll be passing the builder function. I'll explain you why we are passing that. So let's first create the initial state, initial state, and equals to amount is going to be 100. As I told you, it's going to be 100. So now what we need to do, we need to create our actions. So let's first create them and then come over here. And the actions, first thing is const in deposit is sit. Deposit is going to be equals to create action, create from deposit. Then comes our withdraw. So let's write that also, withdraw. Let's export them. So we are going to export like this, deposit, and then comes withdraw. Save this. Now let's go over here and let's just get them. Okay, first thing is builder dot add case. This is going to take two things. The first is going to be the action. So what's the first action? That is deposit. Then we need to pass the reducer function. So what do we pass in the reducer function? Two things again, state and state and action. Now let's just return this. Then what we are going to do in the deposit action, we are going to add the money in our bank. So what we'll do, we'll just write state dot amount plus equals to what? Plus equals to action dot payload. As I told you that payload is going to be the magnitude. Just copy this line one more time. Now what's going to be over here? It's going to be withdraw. So withdraw state and minus this. That's it. Then again, builder dot add default case. Default case will take simply reducer, as if we don't have any action matching, then we will just return the state. Return state itself. No changes. Let's export this also. Export. So store is done. Action is okay. Now we need to import it over here. The first reducer that we have created is the amount reducer. That's it. Save this. Now let's add this in the app.js. Before that, in the index.js, we need to wrap our whole app inside the store. So this is the first store. Now we need to add it from the second store. So we have added that and we have wrapped our app inside this. So now let's start with the app.jsx. So I've already created two functions, that is the deposit and withdraw, and I've also created two use states. The first one is the deposit val, and then the next one is withdraw val. Okay. So, and then I've also put the on change over here just to get the value of the input. I hope you know about this, how to take the value. and then I've just passed the value of deposit val over here and withdraw val over here. Now let's see the main functionality, like how we are going to dispatch our action. So in the deposit, let's first do the deposit. The first thing that we require is dispatch. Dispatch. No, this is not the dispatch that we want. Okay, before that we need to import the dispatch. Const dispatch is equals to use dispatch. Okay, so it's coming from React Redux. Yeah. Then okay. Then dispatch over here we need to pass an object which will be consisting of two things. What are they? First is a type, next one is the payload. Okay. Now what is a payload? Payload is deposit val. And what is the type? Type is simple deposit. That's it. Okay. And let's just copy this and paste it over here. So deposit is done. Let's write withdraw, and over here also withdraw val. So we are done with that. So see, when we'll click on this button, I hope you know about this on click event. This function will be invoked, and then once the function will invoke, the dispatch function will fire, which is consisting of this object which is holding these two things, that is the type and the payload. Okay, now let's see whether it's working or not. But how do we are going to able to see the result? So for that we need the use selector hook. Now let's see how we are going to use the use selector. So write const destructure what use selector. Let me see as yeah, not use state, use selector. Okay, now over here we need to pass state, then what, state dot amount reducer, 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 and over here we need to pass what, we need to pass amount. So let's use it over here, but make sure this thing that the amount, the thing that you have written over here, as this is the object, so it's not an array, so we need the proper word. That is, in the reducer function you can see this thing, that is amount. So that is why we have written amount over there. Okay, and the amount reducer is our reducer that we have created. Okay, that's why we need to write these two things. Okay, so now as we have got the amount, let's see whether it's working or not. So I'll just write, let me refresh this first. So I'll write 10 over here, add the money. Okay, so this is the problem. Let me just fix this quickly. So here we need to write number and just put this inside this number. We are explicitly just converting its type to number. Okay, it's the coercion concept. I hope you know about it. If you don't, I'll create one video for that. So let's just quickly add this, and first let's just reload this. Okay, let's put it like this, and let's see. So it's 200. Let's deduct some amount. We'll deduct 20 from this. So it should be 180. Yeah, you're able to see. So I hope I was able to explain you all about the Redux code and Redux thing, like how to add Redux code in our application with the help of Redux Toolkit. So thank you for watching.